Linnet Carty. Thanks so much for tuning in with us this week. And boy, have I got a show for you. Now, for those of you that are animal lovers, and I will say that I'm an animal lover, but really the basic animals, because sometimes I have a little fear, I'll admit that. But I'm really a dog lover, and I believe that dog is truly a man's best friend. A dog can be more loyal to you than your own partner or husband. I'm telling you this because I know, and the way to find out is put your dog and your husband in your trunk. After 15 minutes, see who still has his feet in the trunk, right? Still the dog. Anyway, so what we have in store for you today are some animals right here in the studio, and they come to us from Forest Park Zoo, and here with us to tell us all about them is Terralyn LaChance. Welcome, Terralyn.
Welcome. Well, thank you for having us. The animals and I are so excited to be here.
I know, and right here we have Clyde, and tell us a little bit about Clyde to start off.
Well, Clyde is an African sulcata tortoise. They're also known as a spurred tortoise. They can get to be about 200 pounds when they're fully grown, and they can live to be 100 years old.
Okay.
And I brought another one to show you.
Yeah, you got to bring up the big baby.
A little bit bigger than Clyde.
And so while you're pulling them out, tell us a little bit about what you do at the zoo and how you go to schools and educate the kids. Whoa!
Well, I am Assistant Education Director at the zoo, and I go on what we call Zoo on the Go outreach programs. So these are two of the animals I can bring to schools, libraries, nursing homes, at-home birthday parties, and I take out one animal at a time and I educate people, just like I just did for you, about the animals. And then depending on the animal, they are allowed to touch them. So with these guys, they are allowed to touch their shell. And as you can see, they have a high domed shell. So these guys are tortoises. They're not water turtles. Okay. These guys live on land, and they have this high shell so they can store water in their shell. A water turtle lives in the water, so it doesn't need to do that. It has a nice streamlined flat shell, and water turtles have webbed feet. Okay. If you look at Dozer and Clyde, they don't have webbed feet. Their feet are nice and dry and bumpy. And these little spikes will actually get to be about the size of my finger or larger, and it helps to protect them because they cannot get their feet all the way into their shell.
Wow.
Like other
I
tortoises.
love turtles. I used to have a turtle when I was little. I share with you my my turtle disaster.
I know.
My parents bought me a turtle when I was about 5 years old, and I learned about hibernation maybe about a week after I had him. So I went home and dug a nice hole and put him in and threw all his food on top of him and buried him, and by the time my mama got him, he was gone. And it's weird because ever since then I've collected turtles. So if you come to my house, I have turtles everywhere.
Well, hopefully you don't bury any of the others.
No, absolutely not.
Well,
absolutely
these guys
not.
were both unwanted pets, actually. People get them, and then they realize how big they can get. They don't do their research first. They do their research after. And then they say, oh, no, what did I just do? This turtle is going to live to be 100.
Wow.
And can grow to be 200 pounds. And it's going to eventually need a room in your home.
So how much eating does that big one?
Oh, he eats so much. He eats a variety of different greens that we get at the zoo. We get all of our fruits and vegetables from Big Y and East Long Meadow. And they give us all the food that comes off the shelves. And we go every day, actually, to get some. So he gets fed very well. Sometimes he might get some fruit mixed in. He loves strawberries. They're his favorite. And same with Clyde here, too.
Yay. All right, so let's go to some of the video clips that we have from the zoo. And you can tell us a little bit about some of the other animals that are there. So let's start with the peacock.
Oh, our peafowl actually is what they're collectively known as, peafowl or a pea family. They roam free here at the zoo. People think that they're out of their enclosure, but they're actually not. So we have a couple different males, and then we have some pea hens, and actually 2 of our pea hens just had pea chicks within the last couple weeks. So if you come to the zoo, you might see them out and about wandering.
Wow.
And we do sell grain for you to feed them.
Okay.
So they're a neat treat. You won't always see the male display, but right now it is mating season, so he has been displaying quite a bit for his pea hens.
Sweet. And what about the skunk that I saw?
Oh, our skunks.
He's so cute.
Our skunks. We actually have 3 different ones. We have Flower, who is a brown and white skunk. We have Lily, who is a black and white skunk. You can put him on the floor, let him crawl if you want. And we have their baby, Pepe Le Pew.
Okay.
Pepe Le Pew was actually born at the zoo, and he did have a brother, Stinky, which now Stinky is at our sister zoo, the Southwick Zoo, and he's part of their education program.
Is he coming for my toes?
No.
Okay.
He won't fit, I don't think.
Okay, good.
Well, I can't guarantee. But.
All right. All right. And then the next little video clip you'll see here is of the black-handed spider monkey.
Oh, our black-handed spider monkeys, they're so sweet.
They're adorable.
We have a nice little family up there, and they just had a baby on April 30th. So now is a great time to come to the zoo. The baby has just started venturing off the mama's belly and her back.
When I went, she was in her little, right on her belly.
Yeah, they cling to the mama's belly and the back. They have an excellent grip. It's very hard for them
Hi, baby.
to come off of their mom and their the mom's back or belly. But they're from South America, and they're a New World monkey, so they lack opposable thumbs and on their hand. Their thumb is actually on their foot. Oh, okay. And they have a prehensile tail, so they're able to hang from trees and swing from vines, and they can support their whole body weight from their tail. It's very muscular.
Cool. Now, I had the pleasure of getting an up-close look at the camels, both the Bactrian,
yes,
and I understand her name is Fergie.
Yes, Fergie. A good way to remember a Bactrian from a dromedary is a B has two bumps in it, so that is a two-humped camel. So a Bactrian camel, her name is Fergie. She is still a youngster, and she shares her enclosure with Max, who is our dromedary camel. So a D has one bump, so that's a one-humped camel.
Okay.
Max was a bottle-fed baby. We had him, he's about 5 or 6 years old right now.
Okay, so that's who you'll see there in that little video clip is both Fergie and Max. And then the bobcat, Montana.
We have Montana and Cujo. Cujo, I believe, is the one you're going to see in the video. He is an eastern bobcat, so he's the brown one that's in the enclosure. He was recently hit by a car. He just came to us from Tufts University where he got all fixed up, but his back legs, it's hard for him to walk properly and run properly, so that's why we have him. So we are a rehabbed facility where we do take in confiscated animals.
He's quick. He went all the way around.
Yes.
I felt a little something on my feet. I was like, oh!
People think turtles and tortoises are not fast, but they are.
Fast. He's really, really fast. And I think he's coming back. He's coming back around.
He's going to do a little circle.
That's okay. That's fine. All right. Now tell us about Trevor. Trevor, and you have two. Trevor and Trevor's little friend.
Yes.
Which is a raccoon.
They are raccoons, and they have been at the zoo. Trevor and his new female have been at the zoo for a little while now. She was just given to us from a rehabber as well. She is blind in both eyes. And Trevor recently lost his friend, so they make a perfect pair. And like all raccoons, they have very tactile functioning with their hands. So they like to touch their food to see what they're about to eat, and they feel that everything with their hands, they put it in water, and it helps them. They usually don't even look at their food. They know what they're eating just by touch.
All right, he's coming back around again. All right, so tell our viewers very quickly about some of these animals that people might possibly have as pets that really shouldn't be pets.
Yes, unfortunately, people go out and they buy pets because they think they're cute. For example, Clyde. I like to tell kids and adults that before you're going to get any pet, really do your research first and figure out if that pet is right for you. We have 12 unwanted parrots at the zoo that people go out, they buy these birds, and they can live to be up to 70, 75 years old. Wow. And then they end up having them for a short time, and for the rest of their life they're in a zoo or a sanctuary or nature center. Same thing with turtles and tortoises. I would say we get a call just about every day for someone's unwanted turtle or tortoise or parrot. Okay. Yes. Wow. So some of them we are allowed to take in. Others we have to turn away as well. Okay. Some animals we get are rehabbed animals. So for example, I know you have footage of the great horned owl. Yes. Someone actually raided an owl nest and took that great horned owl, and that's why we have him at the zoo. His name is Duncan.
Yes, I just have you'll see a short little piece on him there because he was hard to get. He's way up on top.
Yes.
And he was awake, and I understand there's a new thing now. Everybody knows about planking, where you just kind of lay yourself out and plank. Well, now the new thing is to owl. Did you know that?
No.
That's the new thing. Just go. Is that a good impression? I try to make my eyes really big and
like
blink.
There's one right here with me.
That's the owl. That's the new thing. So you'll see people doing that. They've stopped planking and now they're owling.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, so let's move on to a couple more video clips, and you'll see here now Katunga.
Katunga is
The
our
leopard.
spotted leopard, one of my personal favorites. I'm a big cat girl, and Katunga came to us when he was a cub. So he actually came from another zoo. He was not a pet, and he was not a confiscated animal either. But he's been at the zoo. I think his birthday, it was this year. I believe he's about 5 years old now.
Okay.
And they are one of the few big cats that could carry almost their entire body weight up a tree. So they have incredible jaws.
Wow.
They carry their prey up a tree, and that's where they store it. So hyenas can't get to it. Other cats that live in Africa can't get to it as well. So they store it up a tree.
Amazing. And I
wonderful.
want to apologize to Katunga because I called you a tiger.
Yes.
But you know, that's because I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. I admit that I'm not smarter than a 5th grader when it comes to animals. But yeah, he's a precious little animal. All right, let's move on to Pooh Bear and Honey Bear.
Pooh Bear and Honey Bear are black bears at the zoo. They're our oldest living zoo residents right now. Their mother, I believe, was hit by a car in the late 80s, and we've had them ever since. Black bears are found around here, throughout Connecticut and Massachusetts, all over New England. Yes. And they're usually attracted to bird feeders, any food that you feed your cats outside or your dogs outside, or they might just be wandering through your yard. But it's always important to stay far away from a bear. Don't try and approach it just because they look so cute.
Well, one was in my yard, and it's because I had made jerk pork.
Okay.
But anyway, on my grill. When we come back, we have another treat for you. We have more animals right here on the set, so stay with us. Shop Show. I'm Linnet Carty. Hi, you guys, and if you're just joining us, I'm here with Terralyn LaChance. She's from the Forest Park Zoo, and yes, we have on camera with us Pork Chop, and Pork Chop is a porcupine, and if you can't tell, I'm terrified. Just a little bit. He's eating right now, which is great. He's having some broccoli. So tell us all about Pork Chop.
Pork Chop is a North American porcupine. We've had him at the zoo since he was about 4 years old, and he was just a porcupet.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been working with him since he was just a wee little porcupet. He's been on TV before. Don't worry, you're safe. Actually, what you're looking at, the brown stuff is actually his fur, and all these white things, those are his quills. And his quills, he can have about 30,000 on his body, and they range in thickness as you go down his back.
Yeah, he just did a shake, you guys. When we were at the break, he did a, little hard shake. It scared me a little bit, but I guess I'm okay now.
You're okay. You did not get quilled. He could not shoot out his quills. No. So his quills actually release. What has to happen is he has to be nervous and afraid, and you actually have to be towards the back end of him. So
get it. Okay.
Yeah, so his tail and his back underneath his fur have the sharpest of all the quills.
But his claws look pretty sharp.
They're actually considered nails because he doesn't use them for defense. Okay. So just like you and I have nails that continue to grow, they're not claws, just like him. He just uses his nails to climb. And he has extra thick padding on his feet, so when he climbs trees, that's where he usually is found. It doesn't scratch his feet.
Okay, and I did see him climbing his cage. I actually have a little video footage. We'll stick that in there so you guys can see that. Yeah. He's really cute, and if you could see him eat, he came out of his cage and he's just ready to eat. He's a hungry little man. And look at that.
Yeah, and he's actually a rodent, so he's related to mice and rats, squirrels, beavers, capybaras. And as you can see, he does hold his food. Yeah. He's a pretty calm, docile animal. Unless he feels threatened, he literally is just going to sit like this and eat like this in the wild. If he hears a noise or something that he's not used to, that's when he arches his back. Okay. Dogs, coyotes, Bobcats, those animals have a hard time because their nose is angled at the ground and they're smelling as they go. And so Pork Chop would just hear them coming, and every quill has a muscle. So right now all of his muscles are locked in tight. If he was afraid, then he would just release his muscle. So he can't, like I said, shoot them out. He can release them, but they can't go very far. And each of his quills has a tiny little microscopic barb on the end of it, and it locks in. So if you were to get quilled, that barb expands with body heat.
Wow.
So that's why it's very hard to have a quill pulled out. You never want to do that. You can actually rip some of your skin. You want to cut the top off the quill, and that will release some of the pressure. And it's easier to come out. Yeah.
So why did he do the shake?
Because he probably had an itch or something, so he just shook his quills to release, not release his fur, or his quills just to shake a little bit, release some of that pressure. Let's see.
Okay, so this is not an animal you want to have as a pet.
No, and he was not, like we were talking about earlier, he is not a confiscated pet. He is an animal that came from another zoo. Would you like some peach? I want you to go that way.
There we go. Yeah.
And actually, he
eats lots of fruit. He's tearing it up, you guys. He's had first of all, what were the brown things that you were feeding him?
This is what we call omnivore chow, and so this is vitamins and has all of his vitamins and minerals and everything that he needs inside here and the nutrients that he needs. And then he also gets fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, he loves the peach. Look at him. He's going for it.
In the wild, and he'll eat everything around that peach right down to the pit.
Okay.
In the wild, they eat roots, they eat bark, leaves, berries, maybe insects that might be on leaves, but he's not an insectivore. It would be hard for him to catch insects with those teeth.
Okay, cool.
Would you like to see the other animal I brought?
Yes.
Don't worry.
Let's bring out the hedgehog. I'm not as afraid.
This is one that everyone actually thinks is a porcupine, but it's actually not. And they're not even in the same family. These guys are related to moles and shrews.
Ah, so cute.
And this is an African pygmy hedgehog. And this is
just hold them right there. They'll get them on camera really close up.
As big as they're going to get. They're not going to get any bigger than this, but they do have cousins that are found across Europe, and they can get to be the size of a football. And as you can see, she does have quills, but her quills act more like her hair. And they are just modified hairs. So they continue to grow with her. She can't release them, unlike Pork Chop. And she doesn't have any fur. She only has those quills. And just like Pork Chop, they do have a soft belly. So if an animal were going to eat them, they would have to try and figure out a way to eat through their belly first. Yeah.
Now, if you put her down here, Pork Chop wouldn't go for her or anything.
No.
No. Okay.
Because Pork Chop is not a carnivore.
All right.
In her defense, she will curl into a ball and she'll hiss like a snake if she feels threatened and bounce up and down. So if an animal were going to try and eat her, they would hurt their paw.
That's her defense. Okay.
Yeah. They would hurt their paw, or if they tried to bite, that would hurt their mouth. So they would have to get her when she's out of her ball.
All right. Now, where do you find these?
Well, she's found in Africa, and then the European hedgehogs could be found in people's backyards, hence the name hedgehog. They actually used to be found in people's hedges. And they're actually considered good luck in Europe because they go into people's gardens and they eat all their insects.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah. And she has that long pointy nose.
She does.
She's nocturnal. She comes out at night. Pork Chop can be seen during the day or the night, but usually they're nocturnal as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Sweet, sweet. All right, let's go back to some of our little video clips here. And we're going to show you this one here. I was really fascinated with this monkey that has a little bit of green on him.
Yeah, and they have a beard. Those are DeBraza monkeys, and those are old world monkeys. So unlike the spider monkeys that you saw earlier, those guys have opposable thumbs, and they lack a prehensile tail, so they can't hang from their tail.
They can't hang.
And they actually have cheek pouches. They can fit as much in their belly as they can, as much in their cheeks as they can in their belly.
Similar to me.
Or kind of like a chipmunk. It's very neat, because sometimes you'll see they'll just go and grab their food and stuff it all in their mouth, and later you'll see them eating it.
Yeah.
And because of their beards, their names are Santa, Mrs. Claus, and Baby Rudolph.
And Baby Rudolph.
Was born last year.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Yeah.
All right, and now let's get to what I'm really afraid of. No joke. You'll see two different snakes here. The first one is yellow.
Yes, that's Jessie. That's my girl, Jessie.
Okay, it's a girl.
Yes, she's an albino Burmese python. She was an animal that someone had as a pet as well.
How could someone have had that as a pet? It's huge, as you can see here.
What people don't realize is she can get even bigger. She can get to be about 26 feet long, and she can weigh 400 pounds.
Wow.
So I always tell kids that she can get to be as long as a school bus as a good interpretation. And we've had her as long as I've been at the zoo, so she's been there for about 4 years now. I've been using her in programs ever since.
And I don't even want to ask what she can eat whole.
She can eat a whole live adult rat. So she gets fed very well at the zoo.
I could tell because she's huge.
Yes.
Huge.
She just got that new enclosure.
Her cage is gorgeous.
Yeah, we just had some of our zookeepers do that with some of our new interns and volunteers this summer. They did a wonderful job. All of those houses are brand new paint and all the plants and everything in there. They did a great job.
Nice.
I'm glad that you liked it.
Now I know you're not supposed to brush those quills, are you? You're just supposed to rub like the nose and the front right here, right?
Yes, you can pet his nose.
I'm touching him. Okay. Oh gosh, that's because he's eating. He's concentrating on food, not looking at me, which is nice. He's so sweet. All right, tell us about the other snake here.
The other snakes that we have in the windows, we have ball pythons, we have a king snake, and we also have a red-tailed boa. All of them were animals that people had as pets and that were donated to the zoo. They've all been used in my program so far. I usually use most of the pythons or the constrictors. The king snake is a little temperamental in large crowds.
Okay.
And
that was the tortoise that you just heard in the background making that noise. He shook me up a little bit. Okay. Is he okay?
Yeah.
I guess he's okay over there. He's probably mad that he's not out of his little enclosure there. And as we wrap up, tell us a little bit about this deer. There's a deer right here on this video clip.
Those are our Indian muntjac deer. They're the smallest of the deer. They actually have
it's so friendly.
Fangs. Yeah, they actually have fangs. They're all very sweet. What people don't know about the difference between horns and antlers. Deer have antlers. Their antlers fall off every year, whereas goats have horns.
More food. He's wrapping up here.
And their horns continue to grow with them. As they age.
Look, I'm giving him broccoli and he took it.
See, he took it from you. I told you he was a nice porcupine.
You didn't even offer me any. That's cool.
He's a good boy.
He is a good boy. He is a good boy. Now, last but not least is a little footage here of a rabbit. And I used to have a rabbit as a kid, so tell kids about rabbits because kids can have rabbits as pets.
We have a few different rabbits at the zoo. We have a lot of lion head rabbits.
Yes.
And those are a combination or a cross between an Angora and a dwarf. So they stay small and they get a large mane all around their face. And then we also have a giant Flemish rabbit. And we also have a Himalayan domestic rabbit. All of them were unwanted pets too. So someone that gets them, at least the lionhead rabbit their grandparents started off that way. But they've since had a few litters at the zoo.
So before you go, I want folks to know, especially those teachers out there that might want to bring their students to the park. Tell us a little bit about that and what that would entail and how they would get a tour and all that kind of good stuff. And then we'll talk about you going actually to the school.
Sure. We have a bunch of different education opportunities for teachers, summer camp counselors, that kind of thing all year long. Even when we close at the end of November through March, we still open privately for teachers. But we offer discovery programs, which are animal encounters, where I come to one of our large tents that's in the zoo, and I bring animals, and I teach the kids similar to what I would do on the road, but we do it at the zoo. We have guided tours. We have pond studies, where there's certain ponds that we're allowed to use inside the park. And we actually do pond dipping with the kids. We provide the nets and the buckets, and the kids fish for frogs, tadpoles. Sometimes they'll catch snails. That's a really good experience too. I do custom programs because I used to be a teacher. I can cater to Girl Scouts or Boy Scout troops if they're earning a specific badge.
Pork chop, you're making me laugh because he only eats the top of the broccoli like adult. He's like, I don't want the stem. He's got the stems here on the table. He is not.
For parents out there, we have a really good camp program, our summer camp program.
That's cool.
Yeah, the summer has not filled yet, and it's for kids ages 6 to 13. And the kids come to the zoo 9 to 3 every day, Monday through Friday, and they do animal crafts, animal games, Any animal that can be held at the zoo, they get a chance to hold. I do animal encounters. We call them Animal Circle, and I bring animals, so they'll get a chance to meet Pork Chop here and some of our other animals. And they have the zoo to themselves between 9 and 10. The zoo is not open to the public, so it's kind of like the zoo is theirs.
It's their time.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's a really good program.
It's awesome.
We offer it all summer long and then on school vacation weeks.
Sweet. So I want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Pork Chop, for coming to our 2 tortoise pals, including Clyde. And this is Terralyn LaChance at Forest Park Zoo. So you can call her for information. You'll get to see it a little bit on the website here as a graphic. My name is Linnet Carty. Thank you so much for watching. And I really want to say a quick shout out to my crew. Thank you so much to Valerie, Lauren, Marcus, Armando, and my director, Naisha Macaulay. Thank you so much. And we will see you on the next Linnet Carty show. And remember, I love you more than I love cooked food.